As you can see, today we have Barbara Ann Foley, Director of the Council on Aging, as our guest once again. And it's always interesting to talk with Barbara. She's involved in a lot of things, and particularly the flu clinic. And Barbara has some information about those volunteers who are going to assist you in getting your flu shot. You want to tell us how that's going, Barbara?
Absolutely. We are going to be registering people weekdays, Monday through Friday, from approximately 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And that will catch some of our seniors who are in programs in the morning before they come out and leave for the rest of the day. And it'll catch people before they're coming to the lunch program. And it'll catch people after the lunch program. So we thought that catch of time, 10 to 1, would work. How does it work? You simply bring yourself and your Medicare card or an insurance card, and our staff and our volunteers will take you into the computer lab, and it really takes less than 5 minutes. We have the information, we data enter it into the computer, and it spits out an appointment card for you, your registration, and some information about the flu shot itself. And then you simply bring that with you in, a pocketbook or your wallet or a pocket. And on the day of the flu clinic, which is October 15th, we will, the flu clinic begins at 2 o'clock. We'll have you come up in the middle of the walkway, and you'll be splintered off into 2 groups. One will be people who have any kind of disability or special needs. We'll go into one area, and the rest of the general public will go into another. And then once you go into those 2 groups, you'll be splintered off once more. And those that are pre-registered kind of have that green light, Paul, to go right into the room where the shots are given. So it really does behoove you to be pre-registered. And as I said, it only takes about 5 minutes of us to put your information in. I know that in this day and age of the internet and information, people sometimes get worried about things that go over the airwaves. I can assure you that after each person's information is printed, and you have been registered, all of the information that we just data entered is eliminated and is destroyed. So nothing is saved. The converse of that is everybody said, well, I had it last year. Can't you pull up my registration from last year?
Well, that seems like a good question.
It is a good question. However, because of security reasons, it's destroyed after literally 5 minutes after I'm done. So
your previous comment is therefore answered.
Absolutely. So there is no saving any information. There's no losing or having anyone steal the information. It's immediately destroyed. So we are, again, going to be here from 10 o'clock in the morning until 1 o'clock. Each weekday, there'll be at least one of us here to be able to service having people come. If you do come to a program such as Charlie Bates Exercise or Mahjong or something that perhaps is either on the cusp or right near those hours, please don't hesitate to call us or find one of us and say, I know it isn't between 10 and 1, but is there anyone who can do it now? It's not going to be like a taxi service where you just call and automatically it'll be done, but there usually is going to be somebody here who can help. So we would prefer that you get registered than not at all, obviously.
Now, you mentioned an appointment that they were going to get. Is that, can they decide whether they want to come at 3 or 4, or that
Very
just
good
means
question.
that you're registered to come and have your shot?
Well, there's 2 catches of time. There's 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and then there's 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So the registrar will ask you which grouping you want until one of them is closed. And if you say I want 2 to 4 because it's daylight hours, then what happens is we click that box that says 2 to 4, and it will print out 2:30, 3 o'clock. It'll print out an actual time on your appointment card. So you are expected to come at that time. Obviously, 10 minutes before, 10 minutes after. If you're late, it's not a huge to-do. But it's really just to hold a slot as well as a shot.
Okay.
So that we don't have 100 people at 2 o'clock, in other words.
Well, yeah, that's good, so that there's a nice even flow of traffic.
Right.
Very good. Well, that's well organized, and it benefits those of you who are going to take the shot. So,
and October is a time frame that a lot of people will say, oh my gosh, isn't it too late? Well, believe it or not, a lot of people don't realize that the flu season actually goes right through February. When we get into March, we start to get that clearing of, people will say, With season change, you get the winds that blow away a lot of seasonal allergies and things like that. And that's true with March. We have kind of odd weather sometimes in March. But you can get the flu right up through February. So you do indeed, October is definitely not too late.
And you don't have to rush.
You don't have to rush.
Yeah,
and
that's the key.
Your Medicare pays for this. So if you are a Medicare recipient, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you are not quite yet of Medicare age, perhaps like myself, you're a boomer that might be 50. If you have insurance, we have a whole listing of all of the insurances that this clinic takes. And if you're in that insurance catch, if you will, then it's also free. If you happen to not have any insurance, or an insurance maybe in Connecticut or somewhere that's not Massachusetts, it's only $5. Okay. So it's still a really good bargain, and it definitely behooves you to get it. I will tell you, a lot of people will say, I'm never getting that flu shot. I had it one time and I got the flu. Well, you might have gotten a strain of a flu. But what the flu shot does is it covers the two most common flus predicted for that year by the Center for Disease Control. So through our Department of Public Health, we will get the serum, and the serum for each of those shots is to cover the two most prevalent, if you will, shots. Does it cover the 25 different kinds of flu you could get? No. So could you get the shot and inevitably get a flu? Yes. But you're not going to get the flu that are the two most common.
And those are the more dangerous, I assume.
They are,
yes.
Especially for seniors, because a lot of people will say, I lived through World War II, so I'm totally, that period of time, so I'm totally immune. You do have a much stronger immune system from the World War II era than I do. However, the difficulty is that you may have other kinds of illnesses that compromise you. For example, asthma or diabetes or an autoimmune disorder, lupus, those kinds of things. So if you're a person who has that kind of a condition and your system might already be a little bit compromised, and then you get hit with a flu, you're really going to be in trouble. And you're a senior citizen. So you may not fight it off as quickly. And that's why we do recommend people get it. The only people who can't get it unless they are specified with their doctor and an allergist are my family, who are allergic to eggs, because it has an egg white base in part of the whole serum. So that's really the only kind that can't. And obviously, if you're in question, certainly check with your primary care physician.
Very good. Now, you mentioned that people could register. Those times were in the daytime. Now, what about those people who are working all day?
Well, if they're working, they can register from home. And it is, I know the Channel 18 station will put up the link letters. And I believe it's www.ccmedicalreservecorps.org. And what that will do is when you put it into your computer, say after work, it will bring up the same screen that we're doing with the seniors. So anyone who has a computer and knows how to use it can register themselves. They don't have to register with us. We're just trying to make it convenient because we know a lot of seniors don't have computers, or if they do, perhaps they may not know how to use them to do this kind of registration.
Now, what about those who don't have computers who work and couldn't come in during the day? They could do it by phone?
They can call the Board of Health office and talk with them about how to do that. I do believe that they will be at some point doing things over the phone, but they would obviously prefer if they can get in. And they can come to us if they're working on a lunch half hour or lunch hour if they're not down in Falmouth or something. But there are many ways to do that, and hopefully they will get registered before the day of. If it's inclement weather, we will be taking people and bringing them as quickly as possible inside the building. We may be kind of snaking people all the way around the COA side for those that have special needs, and the recreation side for those in the general public. We're not going to have anyone out in the pouring rain, but we're, knock on wood, we won't have any inclement weather, maybe other than a little wind.
Well, that seems to cover a lot of information for people of various needs and various circumstances. So we thank you, as always, for explaining a very important event that's coming up. And we hope that the seniors and others will take heed and prepare and get your flu shot here October 15th. and don't worry about the fact that it is October 15th.
Absolutely. I will give one more quick plug. We have a program Friday this week called Navigating Through Your Life's Transitions with 4 wonderful speakers. The program itself is from 9:30 to approximately lunchtime, and that part is free. We do have a $5 lunch if anyone is interested and wants to stay for that. And then after the lunchtime frame, whenever you get done with your own lunch, you can mosey on into the gymnasium where we have a 40 different vendors fair. And they will cover everything in healthcare you could possibly imagine. So you'll come in, you'll have a bag, and you can put anything that they give you in the bag so you can take it home and look at later. What are they going to talk about? Well, they're going to talk about how do you start the conversation with your loved one about transitions and maybe driving issues and health issues. And then we're going to talk about driving with Sarah Peak, our state representative, and Tom Kerr from Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority, who are going to tell us what things are available out there. We know our own Cranberry Coach and our Friends Bus, but what else is out there? And is it affordable, and where does it go? And what's the future going to bring with boomers all aging out? And then Elder Services is going to give us a little overview because there's a lot of confusion between Council on Aging and Elder Services. Many people think that we're one and the same agency, and we're not. And they will give you a wonderful overview of what they can do and what they can't do. And lastly, my favorite one is we are going to have Dave Downs, who's going to talk about how to declutter your life. It is a process, not an event. And he's very funny and witty, and he gives you 10 things to go home with right away that you can do for yourself to help declutter your life. This is not a seminar, this part, about hoarding. I will just clarify that. It's really more on you know, having papers piling up and putting your bills in an organized fashion, and what do I do with the clothes that I don't wear anymore, and that kind of stuff. But he's very funny and very fun. And then we'll have a bagged lunch, which will be a turkey roll-up sandwich, chips, cookies, and a bottle of water. And then you'll move into the fair that will have everybody from our Harwich Fire Department, who will be updating files of life and putting in medical information for you into their computers so they can more readily serve your needs when emergencies happen. And we will have medical alarms, we will have VNAs, we'll have nursing facilities, assisted livings, you name it. Anything to do with your life and the future of your life. So I hope you'll join us. Again, it's free unless you have the lunch, and that's $5. You do need to call, however, and it's 430-7550 to pre-register. And we will begin that registration Friday, September 28th at 9, and the seminar begins at 9:30 with James Merriam, the town administrator, kicking it off, welcoming people to our Council on Aging. So just wanted to give that one more plug because I know some people have asked about the date and the time, and they were a little bit unsure, so I wanted to make sure people knew about it. Thank you for tuning in.
Okay, thank you, Barbara Ann.